aspects of it. Of course, you have the right to protest, but are you organized in a way where you can actually put across that protest? That's the big question, isn't it?
Actually, there is no right to protest in this fashion. If there has been a failure, the failure has been on the part of the Modi government to allow such a protest to happen in the first place. You would remember that when the truckers protested in Canada, the Liberal government in Canada very harshly put that protest down. You would also remember that when similar protests, marches, etc., were taken out in UK, in Britain, they were put down very harshly by the police. And it's only in India that we allow such protests to happen on issues which are of zero public interest, which are of zero public value. Here the issue is...
Hold on.
Of course it's zero. I mean, how can you say that this handful of people who are there, they represent public interest? They don't. As you've just seen, someone has thrown some black ink on this man, Dipke. Sonam Wangchuk does not have, he's not even a student, he's 59 years old. He has never been part of any educational effort of the kind which involves students in a competitive setting. The students who were in the competition which went foul, the competition has been renewed, it has been set right, and those students now are proceeding with their lives. This kind of a protest, let me reiterate once again, does not represent public interest at all. What the government does and what we in India think, that's the reason why you were objecting to what I was saying earlier. We imagine that this is the right to protest. No, sorry, this is not. In India, such kind of activities have been never allowed before the British took over. This was the half-baked way of the British colonial government to behave as if it was a liberal government, to allow Indians to go out on the streets and to protest in this particular fashion. And every time that kind of a protest happened, it resulted in a massive amount of clash between Indians, a massive amount of kala, and that effectively provided the colonial government an opportunity to rule over us by dividing us. The Congress party of those times called it division.
I do understand. I have my questions about this protest that's happening there, but leaving it that side. But the fundamental question saying that, this is the British way of letting people protest, I have a problem with that, because
this is a colonial way, not a British way. This is a colonial way.
There were protests.
Sorry?
So they were representing India's interests, wasn't it? The common people were representing it. Then how is one protest right and another protest wrong? My question is that. I have my doubts about this protest itself.
It's not a question of one
I understand this protest in that manner in which it is. But when it comes to the fundamental rights to protest, there are ways to in fact put across a protest. Otherwise, it's not in our country.
There is no fundamental right to protest.
We have seen how many protests have been happening in a lot of places. When we have seen in the Western countries, as you pointed out, the truckers' protest happened. Of course, they went hammer and tongs against it. But later, they did also ensure that these parties who were in power did pay for it when their local elections came in. Their MPs were voted out.
The MPs may have been voted out, but effectively the operation is that the government has to assert itself. Law and order is to be given primacy.
Now you're coming to the point. Law and order part of it is the most important about it. You have a parliament session going on. How is it possible to actually go on a protest on the first day of the monsoon session when there is a huge security protocol in place?
And there is absolutely no reason for anyone to imagine that this particular protest represents anyone's interests. Even the people who are protesting, they don't have any direct interest. And that is why your question came up. What is their objective? What is their, who is their leader? What is their mode of operation? All those things are missing because these people do not have a reason to protest. If they had a reason to protest, the public would have joined in. Yes, because a particular drama is going on in public, in India people assemble and have a look at that drama. That does not necessarily mean that they are being influenced by it. That does not necessarily mean that they agree with it. What it does mean is that the government is losing control, and the government has been extremely charitable towards such protesters. The courts have said again and again, there is no fundamental right to protest in this fashion. This protest is a protest which is being now hijacked by the political opposition to create a situation in which they can bring the Modi government down. Yes, that is the kind of thing which the opposition should do. And if the government has allowed them an opportunity to do it, they should use that opportunity to the fullest. Rahul Gandhi, however, has been wise enough to keep away from this. Shiv Sena, which has never been able to do anything Democratically, Shiv Sena has been supporting this particular protest. The Samajwadi Party, which has been lacking in democratic functioning, that is supporting this protest. I think this is a laughable protest.
All right, all right. We're taking that point as in fact taken into